This is a video introduction to Novelty, the visual novel maker. In this video, I'm just going to give you a very brief tour of the user interface and explain how Novelty actually works. So, if you have already used Novelty before, then there's not really any reason for you to watch this video. Before I show off some of the features of Novelty, I just want to point out a very distinct difference between Novelty and other visual novel engines. So, Novelty is orientated, which means that unlike other visual novel engines where, say, you write some sort of script and you write some piece of code that says I'm gonna draw this image or I'm gonna draw this piece of text. In Novelty, everything is an object, so this is a text object, so I can take this and I can pick this up. I can create an image object, and this is something that's very much more tangible than a line of code. So you can, in the editor itself, just manipulate your objects just the way you want it. And so with that in mind, I'm just going to give you a brief tour now of the interface. So this is how Novelty appears when you first start up. And up here in the top left corner, you'll see the story window. And this is where you go to manipulate things like your page. You can add more pages, you can put them into chapters, you can rearrange different pages and so forth. And you see there's actually 3 tabs in this window. So there's a Novel tab, which does what I just mentioned, and there's the Screens tab. And Screens is not something I'm gonna cover in this video, so I'm just gonna go past that for now. And there's the Scene tab, and the Scene tab shows you the objects in your scene. So for instance, if I create another image object, you'll see it appears right here, and I can select it in this list here. Below this window is the asset library, and as you can see, this is where you go to create your objects. And in Novelty, you actually need to put your assets in the asset library before you can use it. Right now I have a whole bunch of images and textures, and in a subsequent video I'm gonna show you how to get your own content into the asset library so you can use it in your own visual novels. But for now, that's the asset library. That's all you need to know. Down here is the property inspector, which, if I again create an object, you'll see it populates with controls and various things that I can set. So the property inspector shows you the properties of the currently selected object. So for instance, I can go in here and I can change the opacity by dragging the slider. I can mirror, flip, do all kinds of things here. So that's the property inspector. Down here you'll see the action window, and this is how you actually do your quote-unquote programming in Novelty. Instead of writing code, and you program Novelty by stringing together actions. And an action is something that you want to perform, like you want to show some dialogue, or you want to move some object, change some state, change the color of an object, things like that. So this is the action catalog, so you can see all the available actions to you right in this window. And I just want to briefly show you how this works. So for instance, I have this object now in the scene, and let's say I want to transform this object, so I'll pick the transform object action, and you'll see it's being added to the top of the list. And the property inspector shows me the properties of this action, and currently it's not doing very much because it needs to be told, well, which objects do you want to transform. So I'm just gonna select it here, and you'll see the interface lets me know that, hey, okay, you can now manipulate this object. So I'm just gonna resize this, put it in the center, and maybe rotate it a little bit. So I've done that, and now if I click anywhere elsewhere in the scene, you'll see it pops right back up because I've actually deselected the action down here. So this is how the game looks when you start it. But if I want to preview now this action that I've just created, I'll just go up here to the toolbar at the top, and I'll click the little play button here, which is play novel from beginning. So I'll just click that, and you'll see that action that we just did. So I'll just click it a few more times, and that's it. So the novel that that we've created will end immediately after this transform. That's why you'll see it zooming in and then popping out. So because we have no more actions. So if we wanted to add more actions after this, we can just do this simply by clicking here, or by finding an action in the catalog and double clicking on it. And here's another neat thing about Novelty. So if I have an action selected, you'll actually see all of the things that happened before it. So now when I create this new dialogue action down here, you'll see that this transform has happened, so it's shown in the preview, which is really useful when you have like long lists of actions. So that's actions in a nutshell. And to round out this video, I'm just going to show you briefly how to get started writing an actual visual novel. And I'm going to do this really quickly. I'm going to use a prefab. So in the asset library, there's a folder called prefabs, and in here you'll actually find a sample novel interface. And so essentially, since Novelty is object orientated, and when you first start Novelty with an empty project, you have no objects. There's no way for Novelty to display your story, or so you want things like a text box and maybe some buttons, and maybe a way for you to load the game and save the game. And all this requires some sort of, you need to go in there and put those objects in there. But if you're a beginner and you're not really familiar with Novelty yet, you maybe just want to get started, you can use these prefabricated interfaces. So I just picked the sample front end screens, and I'll double click that, and you'll see I get this nice little text box. I have some buttons here. These actually all work, so I can save and load the game. And now when I'm at this point, I can just add a background. So I'm gonna pick one of these backgrounds that I've added before. Let's see, let's find someone that looks nice. You can actually see the little preview down here. So this one looks nice. Just double click that. There's our background. And now I want to add a character. So I'll go to the objects folder here, pick characters, and I'll pick, let's say, her. So now I've added a background and a character to the scene. Let's write some dialogue, or monologue in this case. So I'll just click the little speech bubble here, and I can type in whatever I want. So, hello, Novelty. I can do this again. I can say, what a neat little piece of software you got there, or something. I don't know. I'm not really a storyteller, so but basically what I've done now is I've created a simple visual novel styled game, and I can just play this. You'll see hello Novelty. I click the mouse, I get the next piece of dialogue. I can go in here, I can save the game. I can also go in and load the game, and well, you can see how this would go on. So with that, I just want to say thank you for downloading Novelty, and I hope to see some interesting stories being told. And yeah, have fun using the product, and that's it.